Let's discuss one of the newer features that got introduced in C Sharp 9, that is top level statements. Currently, I have a simple console application created using .NET CLI and opened in .NET Core. So if you look at the code here, this is the same old CSproj file that you get whenever you create a empty console application. And as you see, it has a lot of boilerplate code in it. But at what really matters to us is just this one line that prints hello world to the console. One more thing to point out over here is this project is targeted on the newer .NET 5 framework. So let's look into this new C Sharp 9 feature of top level statements and what it really has to offer for us. So in a traditional C Sharp application, if I try running it using the .NET CLI, I can build an application first, and if needed it's going to download the NuGet packages, whichever it will restore in a minute here. And once the restore is done, we can hit definitely run .NET run, and it's going to print out hello world. The step before that I just did of .NET build could have been avoided, and .NET run only could have taken it care of it, but it would have taken a longer time, so I ran the two commands separately. So as you can clearly see here that we do get the print statement hello world. So in this new feature, what happens is currently the program actually looks for an entry point, the main method. But with this new feature of top level statements, what C Sharp actually lets us do is what other programming languages like Python have already been given us, that is one line statement to execute anything. So let's go ahead and try it out. So simply what we need to do is remove this boilerplate code that the application generated for us while the CLI generated for us, and that's it. And as you can see, this is valid C Sharp code now, and it is valid C Sharp 9 code. Basically, if you try this with any other framework, it's definitely going to throw you an error. But in C Sharp 9 with .NET 5, it works. And just to see that, let's just run the program again. And after some compiling, it definitely shows hello world. So in that case, this is just one line of code now, which is great, because now if you need to experiment with any of the new features in C Sharp, you don't have to worry about the boilerplate code. You can just get rid of the boilerplate code and just run your normal C Sharp statements. If you want to reduce this code to even one liner, what you can do is just put system.console, and that's it. This using could be removed, and here we go. It's just one line of code to print something to the console. Now if you have many print statements, it definitely does not make to put this system.console every time. So what we would eventually do is we would have using system would save us some time here. System, hopefully I could type it properly. And also I believe if you now imagine the possibilities with this, because if you want to play around with any new C Sharp feature or a new API without any boilerplate code, you can just run your C Sharp code, and it's not required. So let's just go out with an example. Let's say I want to create a class called person, and a person will have two properties in this case. In this case, let's say the person has the first property, that is the first name, and suppose it has its second property, that it's string and its last name. So what we can do is how we already do it in normal C sharp. We can do portion, or I can call it portion jack, and maybe say new portion jack dot first name. Jack's first name is Jack, and say Jack last name could very well be Doe. And what we could do here is we could say console dot write line, and maybe method actually has another method, say string display full name, which does nothing but console dot write line this dot first name space this dot last name, and okay, and this thing works for us. Let's call this void. Okay, let's say string. Let's not call it void, let's keep it string, and let this thing return a string for me. And what I can do here is now I can say Jack dot display full name, and that's about it. So I can save this. I can go to my command prompt, run the CLI command again, and if this point everything goes well, we have hello world and Jack Doe. So this is basically a neat way of writing experimental code, mocking up quick code, playing with different APIs, playing with different C# 9 features for that matter. I can very well go ahead and just write a quick program with patterns and stuff without dealing with the boilerplate code. Definitely when it comes to a streamlined and a production approach for an application, it's better to have that code in line because it would make more sense. But just playing around with this language, if you just want to play around and want to take use of this feature, it's very nice over here because this thing is very similar to what Python has in Jupyter notebooks or in terms of Python interactive environments and stuff like that. So yeah, that's all for this basis on the top level statements. Going ahead, definitely we'll try ahead and get into some advanced scenarios with this top level statements, mainly async and await, how to consume arguments, because now that our array is missing, how do we go ahead in that way and stuff like that. So okay, that's it.